Peggy 3.
Welcome back to another episode of The Boot Room. As always, Darren Cross from Match Magazine is my right-hand man, and this week we're talking about the subject of keeping a clean sheet. Now, Darren, avoiding the obvious jokes, what's the best way of keeping a clean sheet?
Well, there are a number of things to think about really. The formation that you're using, keeping your team shape as you're playing, not diving into tackles, just things that are going to let you keep a clean sheet and protect a lead.
So in your opinion, what's the best formation to pick?
I think a lot of people like 4-5-1 and I'd go along with that if you're looking for a defensive formation. What I would say about it is that personally, I never head into a game thinking I'm going to defend for the full 90 minutes because I think then you just invite people onto you. But if you are protecting a lead and you want to switch to a defensive formation, 4-5-1 is very good. And you still have the option to make it attacking by using the counter-attack tactic and looking to hit players on the break.
What's your next tip that a good manager would tell their team?
Well, it's really to keep the shape of the team together. Regardless of what formation you're using, you want to make sure that the players stay in more or less the positions they're supposed to be in, and particularly across your back four. If you start bringing centre-backs out of position and leaving the back line sort of all over the place, then you really are susceptible to attacks there. So really constantly look at your shape of the team by monitoring the radar and making sure they're where they should be.
Now that brings us on to teammate contain, because it should be used, but used sparingly in your opinion, yeah? Yeah,
teammate contain is really useful because it brings an AI controlled teammate in to pressure the ball, which leaves you free to do something else. So for example, the AI team player can close the ball down and then you're controlling somebody off the ball, and you can do things like block passing channels, look to make interceptions, pick up runs, that kind of thing. Use it sparingly because, again, if you hold it down for too long, you're going to pull people out of position, and this is where you need to be really careful with your centre-backs particularly. If they've each got a marker and you hold teammate contain and one of those starts moving out, they're going to leave somebody unmarked who is then it's a simple job for them to run through and score.
So when you hold RB, it chooses a player to teammate contain, but what happens if it's using a player that you don't want to use?
Yeah, so for example, if it is your centre-back and he starts moving out, you need to spot that really quickly, let go of teammate contain and then hold it again, and hopefully a different player closest to the ball will start containing, preferably a midfielder.
As well as teammate containing, there's also jockeying, isn't there?
Yeah, jockeying is really useful. Contain is basically a kind of auto jockey, and I really like to take control of it myself by manual jockeying. I do that by holding the left trigger, and what it does is it makes my defender face the play, so then I can control the distance and react a little bit quicker to what's happening around me. What I really like about jockeying is that once you get close enough to the player with the ball, the game will handle tackling for you. You kind of auto tackle as long as you're really close. And that's really useful. It means that you can just concentrate on closing the distance and blocking any sort of escape routes for the striker and then win the ball.
And going back to not being defensive for the whole game, you actually like to switch to attacking mentality to begin with, don't you? Just to see if you can get a goal early.
I do, yeah. I mean, a lot of players will start the opposite way around and think, let's not concede first. But I like to take the game to the opponent and sort of give them hopefully a bit of a scare early on in the game to think that, you know, this guy's going to come and attack. I think that's a good way to play. It's a fun way that I like to play the game. I certainly wouldn't look to defend for the whole match. You know, even if I was looking to pick up 1 point to win a title or something like that, I'd still go into the game looking to score first. You know, I don't think you ever want to be inviting teams onto you for the whole game because the chances are you'll concede.
Darren, any other last-ditch defending tips?
Yeah, one more thing that I find particularly useful when you're defending aerial balls, particularly those that are coming into your box. Use the shoot button to clear the ball rather than the pass button. Often if you hit pass and try and knock it down to a teammate and play pretty, you'll give it away to an opposing attacker. Whereas if you hit the shoot button, you're not going to take any risks and you're going to clear it away from goal, and then you can start again.
There's a rhyme for that, isn't there? If in doubt, put it out.
Exactly.
Excellent. What we got next week?
Next week we're going to look at great ways to win the ball back.
Wonderful. Look forward to tackling that one. Don't forget you can catch Darren in Match Magazine every Tuesday, and we'll see you next week on The Boot Room.